Alright, y'all, what's up? Welcome back to the show. Now, you've seen plenty of videos on my channel now where I'm looking at emergency vehicles, ambulance responses, police responses, that type of thing. It's very interesting. Lots of different vehicles, light patterns, siren cadences. And the one thing is something like an emergency vehicle, a lot of them are very different throughout most of Europe than you would see and hear here in the U.S. Well, this is why the European siren is scientifically proven to be better. This is going to be a very interesting video to watch. I didn't know there's a video out there like this. It totally applies to this series I've been doing on this channel, where I point out the differences in what I hear in those siren cadences in different countries within Europe. They're usually a lot different than the ones I hear locally in the U.S. This was suggested on Discord by Sirens62. And this is a course from a channel called Half as Interesting. Watch this whole video uninterrupted and definitely browse their channel with the link in the description down below. Pretty much implied that a lot of these sirens in Europe are probably more effective. They might sound weird to me. I've even mentioned that in video, but I said, don't let that fool you. It might not sound as pleasant, but it's supposed to be effective, and that's what it is. So yeah, at the end of the day, you kind of want the siren not to sound like a good song or something, but rather just be effective in people knowing where it's coming from, and so they know what it means to get out of the way and stay clear because there's an emergency. Let's check it out. That's like an American siren.
In New York City, the wailing siren is part of the symphony of the streets. It's an icon of the city, but like many of New York's icons, Times Square, the subway system, and Rudy Giuliani, it sucks. But it doesn't have to. This is a European siren.
Yeah, you hear the difference?
If you've ever been to Europe, especially anywhere near Birmingham, you'll recognize this sound, which is called the high-low siren, immediately. New York and other places in America are reportedly considering switching to the European siren, and this video is my manifesto as to why they should. Because while all sirens are unpleasant and interrupt and make me doom scroll Twitter for 30 seconds while recording audio, European sirens can be scientifically proven to suck less than New York and the rest of America's sirens. To understand why, you first have to understand a bit about sound waves.
So I'm pretty sure he's going to explain this. People have tried to explain this in my comment section before as well, which is awesome. I'm going to assume that he's going to talk about this. And that being, one thing about the U.S. sirens that I admit, I think are sound okay, right? They're kind of iconic to me. Like, that's what you hear in shows. It's what you hear in real life. They have a distinct sound. And I think that they're loud enough to where you do hear them far away. So, like, they're effective in some sort of way. But they're not effective in another way, and that is, there are plenty of times in my life where I'm in an intersection waiting at a light or something, or you're driving, or maybe perhaps you are, out in the yard. Maybe you're walking around your neighborhood. It doesn't really matter the situation. If you can hear the siren, that's great. But then I usually don't know where it's coming from. I will admit that. It's like you can hear it, but it's really hard to tell until it's right on top of you which direction it's coming from. Is it behind me? Is it to the right of me? Is it in front of me? I don't know why. Probably because of some sound wave science. The sirens aren't easily interpreted based on direction here. So that's kind of weird. Whereas a lot of the European sirens, I can even tell through video kind of where it's coming from, but people say in person, especially, the thing about the European sirens is they're more direct. You can totally tell which direction it's coming from, and therefore, they're definitely more effective.
This is a sound wave. You can call him Wavy, although technically his full name is Waverton B. Dorido, here to the Cool Ranch fortune, but we'll stick with Wavy for now. This part of Wavy, his height, which you can call amplitude if you want to be fancy about it, determines how loud he is, which is measured in decibels. Both the New York and the European siren hit the same decibel level, 118, which, by the way, is more than the human ear should hear because our ears start taking on damage at about 80. The sirens will exceed it because, it's an ambulance. They don't have time to worry about your health or safety. So the New York and European sirens are equally as loud, but the difference comes here, in their frequency, which we usually call pitch. We traditionally measure pitch in hertz, in honor of the world's third most mediocre car rental company, and the higher a frequency, the higher the pitch and hertz level. Here, I'll show you. As Wavy's frequency increases, you'll hear the pitch go up. And this is the key difference between the New York siren and the European siren. The New York whale siren is traditionally between 600 and 1200 hertz, while the European high-low siren moves between 450 and 600 hertz. Meaning the European siren's highest pitch is only half the highest pitch of the New York siren. That's what makes it so much better. People generally perceive high-pitched sounds to be piercing and unpleasant. Think of a baby crying, or a mosquito buzzing, or Ariana Grande singing. So because the European siren is lower, most people find it less annoying. In addition, by alternating clearly and distinctly between the 600 Hz pitch and the lower 450 Hz pitch, the siren offers listeners a clear respite from the siren's highest pitch, while the New York siren's pitch change is continuous, so you never feel like you get a break. Now, you probably have 3 questions. First,
I will admit, when there's an ambulance or a fire truck driving by, it is so loud. Like I said, our sirens are loud. They definitely don't have a problem with that. And it is like just in your face annoying. Like they're so loud. Whereas you kind of get that. I know what he's saying. You kind of get a break with the high-low style sirens like you would find throughout most of Europe. It's more, I don't know, it's like more effective, but it's also more relaxed. Like it's not as in your face, like this high-pitched wail that just seems to like carry on forever, right? So yeah, maybe we're gonna start changing up our sirens. It would be interesting to see.
Considering it's less annoying, is the European siren less effective? Well, the answers are yes, yes, and no. It turns out that European sirens are actually more effective than New York sirens, mainly because lower frequency pitches move further than higher frequency pitches. But to understand why lower frequency pitches move further, you first need to know that sound waves have to move through a medium. Given that the Long Island medium is normally busy with her TV show, sound most frequently has to travel through air. As sound waves travel, they're vibrating the particles in the air to transfer the sound, or energy, and because low-frequency waves are, less frequent, they transfer less energy to the air particles than high-frequency waves, thus running out of energy less quickly, and thus moving further. This principle extends to sirens, according to a study conducted in 2013 by a group of scientists who were definitely totally not wasting their engineering PhDs by studying the wee-woo machines. They found that a 40-year-old with average hearing could detect the New York whale siren at a maximum of 249 feet or 76 meters, and a 60-year-old could detect it at 125 feet or 38 meters. For the European two-tone siren, those numbers were nearly doubled. The 40-year-old could detect it at 508 feet or 155 meters, and the 60-year-old at 206 feet or 63 meters.
Okay, I was not going to expect that big of a difference. Were you guys? I figured the European, when it came to the science, I figured the European style high-low sirens, I figured those would definitely prove to be better, even when it came to tests and statistics. But I didn't think it'd be like double. Oh my God.
So
that's a big difference.
When it comes to sirens, it turns out that the European way is just better than the New York way.
All right, well, that was, pretty short, but there's not much to explain. I mean, he covered it. I can't believe those results. Right? The distance. Yeah, these results here speak for themselves. That's really impressive. So now, of course, sirens vary, right? I mean, sirens vary within the U.S. Not all sirens sound exactly like the NYPD or New York ambulance sirens, as well as not all sirens in Europe sound like the one we heard that was sampled in the beginning. I've seen from a lot of different countries, hence this series on my channel where I look at different emergency vehicle responses in different countries, that they're all, a little bit different. But generally, European sirens all, while being independent of each other, have more of a similar type of sound versus the American ones. So I'd say, even though I hate to use these blanket terms, the European siren is definitely a blanket term. I think most of the time, most of those European sirens are better. And I think that's kind of cool to see it explained like that when we're talking about hertz, sound waves, distance traveled, all these different things. I will add that he didn't really mention it too much in this video, but like I said, I've heard and I do believe that directional sound is very important as well. So I feel like the European sirens, you might be able to hear which direction they're coming from a little bit better than you would the American ones. But yeah, let me know your comments on this, your thoughts on this. Have you gotten to hear both? Have you been, both places and, heard them? What did you think the difference was? And which do you prefer? Who has the best and most effective sirens in the world? If you want to throw like something out there like that, go ahead and let me know. But there's much more to come in this series because this is one of my favorite series on the channel. I really love looking at the different emergency vehicles, the different, liveries and paint schemes and light patterns, siren cadences. It's really interesting. Please throw a like on there if you enjoyed this. Subscribe to be part of this amazing community we do have here. Awesome suggestion this was, so keep up the suggestions as always, guys. My name is Ian. You're watching IWrocker, and until next time, y'all, stay safe out there. I'll catch you later.